So we planned on going live, but apparently our channel doesn't meet the new eligibility requirements to go live. So we're doing the second best thing and just recording on YouTube, and we'll post it. So hiya! Hope you're all enjoying your quarantine, and hope everybody's fit and well, mainly. So 2 years ago today, this is about like their haircuts that I did. Homemade haircuts.
Apart from mine.
Yeah. Do it yourself, don't you? DIY. Yeah, so 2 years ago we bought, not Isabel, the boat. We didn't buy you, did we?
No.
And we just thought we'd come on, and because there's so many things that we always say.
Hey, call me squirrel and squirrel.
Call you squirrel because you're a squirrel. Okay, squirrel. But we always say, or we wish we knew then what we know now. So we just thought we'd do a little rundown of all the things that we sort of wish we had known back then, so that it might help out some other budding boaters. So the first thing, so 2 years ago we sold our house, and 5 days later we hot-footed it. We just kept searching on the internet for boats for sale, and we basically drove all the way to Nottingham. It was the only place we visited, and bought Liberty. And we basically had a budget, so we had £50,000 from our equity in our house, and what do you think? We could have done it so much better, and we could have got so much more for our money.
Could have done it better, but our circumstances at the time meant that we rushed into it.
Yeah, so we basically
we were apart as a family.
We were apart as a family. So Stu and the dog moved in with his mum, and me and the girls moved in with my mum, because there wasn't enough room at either house for all of us together, and which was just horrible. It felt like we'd broken up, and it was not a nice time at all. So we just rushed into it because we wanted to be back together again. So the first top tip that we have is be patient and hold out for what you really want. We bought our boat, and as you can see from all our early videos, we bought it and it was just in primer, which meant we either had to find £7 to get it professionally painted, or we painted it ourselves, which I did last summer. And Stu very professionally measured out the coach lines, didn't you? Which is why they're so beautifully straight. But yeah, if we'd been more patient, we probably could have found a boat that might have been, ours is a 9 foot wide, we probably could have found a 10-foot wide one that was the same length. It could have been painted, but the big stinger was that we paid £3,000 to have it brought down on a lorry to Keynsham.
And then we had to pay £500 to get it craned off the lorry.
Yeah, then we had to pay
£3,500.
Yeah. So we basically met a family last year who followed in our footsteps and did the same, but because of our advice, they bought one in London and just drove it here like themselves. So they just got on the boat from London. They just travelled all the way up to here and saved all that money and got all the experience of driving it and stuff. And yeah, so that's our first tip.
The thing is, they've got the bigger boat for their money, where we could have had the same size boat we've got now, but more money to put into the boat.
Yeah.
Because we'd have saved the £3,000. We'd have saved the £3,500. Well, it's more than that. So it was £3,000 to get it down here on an unescorted lorry, £500 to get it taken off, and then £500 to get it put into the canal, into the river,
a few months later.
So £4,000 we spent.
Yeah.
just getting it brought down and put into the river, basically.
Yeah. And then we basically, because we had no idea what we were doing, we thought we needed it to be on a hard standing. So then we paid for it to be put on a hard standing in Keynsham, which basically means it's just not in the water, it's put up on blocks, so that we could it's called blacking. So the bottom of the whole bottom half of the boat is all painted in this black bitumen stuff that basically stops it from decaying. So and that was £425 a month, which might not sound like much, but that was basically 4 months we were there. So all that money was again money we could have put into the boat. So we should have just put it straight in the water, but I think it was just fear, wasn't it, holding us back, that we didn't know what to expect.
You
don't know what you don't know, do you? So in hindsight, if the boat in Nottingham was the boat we were going to get, we could have paid way less, got it craned down to somewhere, the soonest place that we could have had it put in. So sort of Birmingham way is as far as Widebeams can go, and then we could have just driven it all the way down from there and then found somewhere. We were obsessed that we thought that we needed to have somewhere to moor, but actually now that we've been cruising for 18 months, just over, it's amazing cruising, and we don't ever have nowhere to moor, do we? Obviously.
You have nowhere to moor, never an issue with parking your vehicles, you can choose your neighbours.
Yeah. Obviously, lots of you that follow us know that we were in Bath and stuff for the first year of our journey. That was very different because it's very busy down there. But once you come away from the busier places, because I imagine it's similar in Birmingham and all where there are cities.
Anywhere where it's touristy.
Yeah, where it's touristy, then the parking is a little bit harder. But while we've been in Wiltshire, which is our ultimate favourite place ever, we haven't struggled to park once, and it's been amazing and secure. Mollie, what are you doing?
Crazy boat child.
Crazy boat child, yeah. So the other thing that we did, an episode you saw in one of our episodes, was that we paid £2,900. Oh god, it makes me cringe thinking about it. For a wiring loom, which is basically the loom that all your electrics runs from.
Basically paid someone to come out. Basically paid someone to come from, where did it come from?
Coventry.
Basically paid for someone to come from Coventry to tell us where we needed lights, where we needed the water pump, where we needed the shower pump, basically just switches and things like that, and basically just made us believe that we wouldn't be able to work it out, that it needed calculating to see how much power needed to go from the batteries, the inverter, to the other end of the boat,
which was all stuff we didn't understand.
Which
so
it's fine, but we've since learned that we didn't need to do all that. We could have probably saved half the money by just getting people that do it on a daily basis.
Yeah. So that's already saved you like £5,000. Just like that. And if I think about what we could have spent that £5,000 on, like we would have just don't even bear to think about, really.
We also had, like, the way he came in, he put the wiring loom up, worked it all out, but we've got probably a dozen more lights than we need.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, it just seems like it's got the.
It feels like he was encouraging me for
to
spend more, and for a boat that would have been on a shoreline, so something that would have been like in a marina and stuff, where you're just constantly got electricity.
Permanently moored.
Yeah, which is we don't need at all. So we've got them, and we've only just made them work. But yeah, so that's another thing. The third thing that it's come up quite a lot, and it's we've watched a lot of boating videos, and insulation is a massive thing that people talk about in the boating world, to make sure that your boat is insulated properly. When you buy a boat like you saw ours in the early episode, well, even now still actually, they just spray it all over with this yellow foam insulation. In the dead of winter, so the coldest we've seen it is -8, haven't we? Last winter, -8.
2 months.
Snow for 2 months. If you put your hand to that insulation, it's warm, even when it is at its coldest. So for all those people who are putting all of that foil insulation over the top of it, you don't need it. Honestly, the yellow insulation.
So like the wall level is, you touch the part that's above the water and it's warm. You touch the part below the water and it's warm because it's insulated. And then you touch the floor and it's freezing cold because there's no insulation down there. All there is a steel hull, concrete blocks, and then plywood. So there's nothing to stop that cold barrier coming through. So like I said, you can stick your hand on the side of the wall below water level, and that insulation that they spray on it, spray foam insulation, is enough to stop the cold coming through. But the floor is where the cold comes through. So as a builder, in my experience, I wish I'd have put a barrier. So it would have been steel hull, concrete blocks, plywood, and then I would have either gone for 25mm Celotex, or preferably, if you got the money, a Superlux quilt, which is like layers of foil and like a fibre, and it looks like a quilt. It's like basically like a space quilt. So I'd have had that, and then I would have sandwiched it with another layer of plywood. So you'd have had still the concrete blocks, your ballast, weighing it down, then the plywood, then the Celotex, or the Superlux, and then I would have another layer of ply on top of that. That would have stopped immediately the cold barrier come through. The Superlux itself basically works out, so the 150mm insulation you have in your loft, Superlux is 4 times that amount. But in literally the space of ½ an inch. So ½ inch of Superlux is the equivalent to 4 times the amount you would have in your loft. So I'd have had that sandwiched with the floor. That would start the cold coming up through the floor.
Because the floor, I mean, we've got like a plastic sort of
we've got a
1 mil.
Yeah, so we've got obviously the hull of the boat, the concrete blocks, the plywood. Then we've got a form of barrier which they put under like laminate flooring, things like that. And then we've got,
it's like blue on one side and gold on the other.
And then we've got our basically like our composite flooring on top of that. Which is good because it means you can spill water on it, any moisture, you can just wipe it away. You know, it's not real wood, but it does still bring the cold through a little bit.
You need a good pair of slippers, basically.
So my advice for anyone buying a new boat would 100% be stop that cold coming up from the floor. Forget about the walls are fine. If it's spray foam insulated, that's all you need. You don't need anything else. You don't need any more than that. The cold's not going to come through there. The cold is coming up from the water level.
Because you're obviously sat in water, so it's going to be...
And like when we had the cold winter spell a couple of years back, well, a year ago it was, wasn't it? We woke up in the morning and our boat was stuck in ice. That was cold.
Well, there's a YouTube episode, I can't remember which one it is, of us trying to drive through it.
Yeah, trying to break the ice as we were going, but that was at its coldest, and it was fine. And the only reason it was fine was because of our wood stove.
One thing we did right.
Our multi-foil, our multi-fuel wood stove. We were like, that's the one best bit of advice I had at the very beginning was we went and when we were moored in Kingchub on hard standing, we got invited onto a Widebeam 12-foot wide beam boat, and there was a man on there and he had a little Morso stove on there, and he said to me, the one advice I would give you is the cold comes from the floor, make sure your wood stove is big enough to heat the whole of your boat. He said, because I'm sat here in front of this little Morso wood stove with my slippers on, freezing every night. I'd literally have to sit in front of it. So when we went and got our wood stove, what size was it we looked at? It was a 6 kilowatt, was it?
Yeah, ours is 8.
We looked at a 6 kilowatt stove, and then a guy had a Villager 8 kilowatt stove, which is what you'd see in probably a very big house. And I was like, well, we'll just get that, because it's better to be oversized than undersized. At the end of the day, we can just put less fuel in, less logs, less coal, or at least we can up it. But if we get a smaller stove, we're only going to be able to put in as much as what the stove can hold. So we went for the bigger stove, and yeah, there's been times in the winter where we've been having to open up the doors and the windows because it's just been absolutely boiling hot because we've put too much in. So yeah, always go over the top on things, I think.
Yeah. And then probably our last, when you figure out the room sizes and stuff, like most people, I've seen other people do it on Instagram and stuff as well, they've done the same as us, where you just get tape and you tape out the size of a room, but it's really hard to tell how big a room's going to be. So we wish we'd made our bathroom smaller, and given the girls a few more inches in their bedroom.
Yeah, I think the thing is when you live on a boat, it's only during that cold period, maybe 3 months, that you're pretty much stuck indoors all the time. Other than that, you're probably sat outside, you're chatting to people, you know.
When you're not in quarantine.
Yeah, when you're not in quarantine. But you're generally out in the sun. So, I mean, your bathroom, does it need to be a big luxurious bathroom? Probably not. Well, I mean, what you're doing it, you just go in there, have a quick shower, go to the toilet, and that's it, and you're out there. Your bedrooms, like for us, our bedroom's fine because it's not that big, it's not small, it's comfortable. It doesn't need to be any more.
It's got a king size bed in it.
It's got a king size bed in it, but it doesn't need to be any more than that because at the end of the day, we just sleep in it. The girls' bedroom, we wish we'd have made bigger because they do play in it a lot. They socialise in there.
And we've completely messed up the configuration.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't take into account how big they grow, which might sound stupid, but like we did their beds because they were little. You know, they were only 5 and 3 when we moved onto the boat, and now Mollie's a giant, an 8.5 giant.
She's really tall.
Yeah, and she needs to be in a full size bed. It's as simple as that.
Yeah,
so we're gonna have to rip all that out.
Yeah, we're gonna have to move the beds around. So that's probably one thing I would say is, like, if you do a child's room in the boat, is to make sure that you've got the room to move the beds around. So probably not have something that's static that's going to be stuck there.
Or we've been looking at the fold down bunk beds.
The fold down beds are alright, but I would say just go for a full size bed from the get go.
Yeah, and try and work around it if you can.
And if you come to sell it, it's better to have a full size bed than a small bed, because people are always going to think, well, if I have people stay around, at least they've got a full size bed to sleep in. Or if a family comes to buy your boat, you know, they're going to look at it and think, you know,
just be careful when you're thinking about beds and stuff. So we originally built our bed, and we built it on 2 of those Kallax cupboards, like the high ones, thinking, oh yeah, we'll be able to have all the drawers in the side and then we'll have storage underneath, and it just smelled damp all the time, so we ended up having to get rid of it, and we've just got a little low king size bed now that's got about that much space underneath, but it means that, and we don't put anything under it, so it just has got airflow to go under it, so that I can get the mop under there if I need to and things. And then the same with the girls' bed, like it was getting all mouldy on the underside. So Stu, admittedly, because we had solid wood bottoms on the bed, so Stu's taken them out and slatted them so that there's more airflow and stuff. But it's just wherever there's stagnant airspace, so I'm just with like those trundle beds and stuff is what I'm thinking about. So if you buy one of those beds and you think, oh, they can have people to stay and have a trundle bed, imagine a trundle bed in that space for weeks on end where it doesn't get used really. I imagine that you'd end up with a mouldy mattress, and it just would. I just don't think it's a great idea, to be honest.
I think the thing is when you live on a boat, is you have got to be a bit realistic in terms of the clothing and just the materials that you store, because the more you store, the more it's just sat there doing nothing.
Yeah.
Getting stagnant. It's like this weekend I've got loads of jumpers and hoodies and stuff like that. I thought I've not worn this since last winter, and I smelt it. It smelt a little bit damp, and I thought I'm gonna bag all this up, take it to my mum's, wash it and store it, because it's just sat there taking up space.
Yeah. It's
starting to smell. One
thing we've not tried yet, which is on our list to try, is to buy vacuum packed bags, because I have heard that if you take the air out completely and you have a couple of those little gel sachets in, that you can then store clothes and it doesn't get the damp smell. So that is something that we're going to try.
Yeah.
Because obviously we've got bedding that we have to store as well for changing beds and stuff.
But I think in general, because
the less you have, the better.
Yeah, the less you have, the better. And if you've not been in that cupboard for a couple of months, just getting there, move things around, and that'll be enough for the next couple of months, probably.
Yeah. Yeah. So what have we done right?
What we've done right?
Not lining the walls yet.
Yeah, not lining the walls yet, because
we would have damp patches.
We would have issues that we can't see, because although they spray foam insulate the walls and stuff, they don't get every single spot. The tiniest, I'm talking I don't know.
Stu lays in bed and he's
yeah,
there's another bit.
I lie in bed and I look up and I see a spot where they've just missed it, or maybe it's just not, the expanding foam's just not filled the gap. It could be a tiny little spot, smaller than the end of a pen, and that would be enough to cause moisture and a drip, and you get that all throughout the boat. And to be honest, you don't really see that until you get in that period where it's cold outside and it's warm inside.
Yeah.
When that hot and cold barrier happens, that's when the moisture occurs. You get it on your windows, you get it on any metal surface, but obviously you're living in a metal boat that's spray foam insulated, so any point of air inside that touches that insulation is going to get cold, it's going to create moisture. So we've had friends that have bought boats that have been lined already. You know, they've got their boats, they're ready to get outside, all the walls are lined up, so finished, and then they've had damp problems, and they've had to pull the ply back to notice that there's spots that haven't been spray foam insulated.
Yeah.
So I've been going around with a can of spray foam on the end of a spray gun, just go around getting all the little spots. Probably over the last year and a half, I would say, and I'm still finding bits and pieces now.
You're getting there.
But we're on top of it now.
We will be lining the boat this summer.
I'm pretty confident that I can line the boat and know that I'm never going to have any issues behind it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to line the boat and then think there's going to be something that goes on behind that at some point. I didn't want that.
No. Because it's not just lining it. You line it and then you decorate and then you put it's so much that goes into it. To then have to undo it all again.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's so you can get it on a car. You can have a car and it look perfect outside, and then over time little bubbles start appearing on the paintwork, and it's because it's rusting from the inside. And it's not rusting on the outside, it's rusting on the inside underneath the paint, creating a bubble, and eventually it's got to come through and it creates a hole, and it's just a nightmare from then on. So that's what I don't want. I don't want to be covering things up for me to later on start seeing rust on the outside of the boat, holes on the outside of the boat. So I'm making sure that whatever's going on inside is fully moisture barrier proof, so there's no air getting to the metal at all. And that just takes time. That, I mean, we if we were on hard standing, we would have boarded it, got on the river, got onto the canals, and
Nightmare.
yeah, it would have been a nightmare. It would have been a case of just patching it up to get rid of the boat, to be fair, which is not what I want to do. So.
No. And so the last bit of advice we've got for you is just don't be scared of stuff. So like we just were petrified of everything. We were petrified of
the kids walking on the boat.
The kids walking. Oh my
Got
god,
them
it's
life
hilarious.
jackets.
Bought them life jackets that they never wear.
Got them life jackets that have
They've both exploded in the storage
exploded
boxes.
in the storage boxes because they've got damp.
They're those ones that are like little, and then when impact of water with the gas canister, they
just explode
Yeah.
out. They've never worn them. Now the girls run around the boat. We don't even like think about it.
they
They're
can
just
basically
used to
stand
it.
up in the canal anyway. So
The girls do
yeah.
the locks for us at the same time as well.
yeah, but even
We
stuff
join
like
them.
the engine and stuff, like we've serviced the engine ourselves.
Yeah.
You
It's
just
just-
buy a pack on eBay, put in the engine name and number, and they send you all the stuff you
Yeah.
need. You can
Just
watch
changing the
everything.
oil.
Everything you need to find out, you can find the video on YouTube. Somebody's done it before you. We've got loads coming up this summer, haven't we? So had coronavirus not hit, we would have had solar panels now, but Stu's not working, so everything's just ground to a halt, hasn't it?
Just being careful of money.
So we're just being careful of money at the minute and just holding tight until Stu's back at work. But we're literally waiting in the gates for everything to open back up, and we've got solar coming, we've got our walls being lined, basically the boat will pretty much be, we might even have hot water and a shower. So yeah, so we'll be able to do another video again of what we've learnt from all that process, I guess. But yeah, unfortunately, because we let these videos be watched by kids and stuff, you can't comment anymore on YouTube, but my email address is on the page, I think, so you can email me if you've got any desperate questions, or follow us on Instagram at the Boat Family kiss cross. But yeah, we really hope you're all alright, and that you're getting through this tricky time, because we feel like caged animals at the minute, don't we?
We do, but I think we're
in a
fortunate.
beautiful spot.
We're in a good
beautiful.
position, because I look back at these times and think about, I've got friends that got mortgages and
Yeah,
debts coming out of their ears, and we've got no debts.
no.
We've got that behind us, that's ours. No one can take it from us. Don't know anyone, any money. We're very fortunate. I mean, apart from us not being allowed to go anywhere, our lives haven't changed. Our lives are no different.
Well, then ours have, because we got you home, which is amazing.
Yeah, I'm home every day, but in terms of
Girls don't go to school anyway.
yeah, and to be honest, I'm just looking at this as like one great big long holiday. So
Yeah, but some people aren't as fortunate. And
some people aren't as fortunate, and
We haven't directly been affected by knowing anybody
yeah,
who's got
but
poorly yet.
people
So,
aren't that fortunate, and we weren't 2 years ago.
No.
We weren't fortunate. We were just lucky that we were able to get a bit of equity in the house to get
Yeah.
us out of that position, to get us
Yeah.
what we got behind.
Yeah. But we're sending you all the love.
Yeah,
Big hugs.
Stay
Virtual
safe.
hugs. Girls, come and say bye.
stay safe,
Yeah.
and
Bye bye.
That's one.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
And that's number two.
Right, see
Bye-bye.
ya.